Hey guys, welcome back to Court Reporter Confidential. I'm your host, Isaiah Leslie, and I have with me today a real special guest. We have coming to us live from Florida, actually live from California, from Florida, Stacey Raikes.
Hi, hey, in the house.
So a lot of you may know Stacey. She's been a figure nationally at the NCRA. She's a speed test contest winner. She's been a reporter for almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years.
And Stacey, why don't you tell us your story, kind of how you got into this? And
I got into court reporting as a young child. My sister was a court reporter, so it kind of runs in the family. I just remember being about 12 years old and my sister pulling up with a cherry red Honda Prelude, automatic transmission. That car was sweet. It had T-tops. And I remember thinking to myself, how can my sister afford this car? And I remember her practicing on a manual machine in our attic in New Jersey for hours on end. She went to school at night and finally graduated and became a successful freelance court reporter. I had no idea what it was. I just knew she made money and I knew she had a sweet ride. And so when I got out of high school, I kind of was lost. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had taken SATs, done really well, but I just could not picture myself sitting through school for another 4 years. Just wasn't my thing. What was I going to do? I had no idea. I floundered around. I tried to get little jobs, but ultimately, I was living with my sister, the court reporter at the time, about 18, going on 19. And she said, today, you're getting off the couch and I am taking you down to Satone Institute, which was a famous court reporting school in New Jersey. And she said, I'm going to pay the registration fee and I'm going to sign you up for court reporting school. And you're either going to make it or you're not. But you're going to stop sleeping on my couch. And that's what I did. I went to court reporting school. I signed up. I went through theory and I got out of school in 16 months. And I started my career from there. It was just something that came very naturally to me. So sometimes you hear maybe it runs in the family. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that I just had a knack for the machine and a knack for writing on the machine. And that's how I got started.
That's so funny. You know, Stephanie, it was a family member. It was her aunt who kind of was the gateway for her to get into it. And although she's not as fast as you at school, she was pretty fast as far as students go. She did it in about 2 years. But yeah, it just kind of
came naturally. And I think certain people have an aptitude for it. And I was one of them. And so from there, it just went into freelancing in New York and, you know, a long history from that point. But I love the actual writing on the machine, and I always have.
Yeah.
I probably always will.
Yeah.
So it's just my thing, you know.
Yeah, and you bring such personality to it too.
Listen, we have to sometimes step out from behind the machine, and I mean that in a figurative sense, as far as letting people know that we are in the room, you know, and even if that's just a smile, a friendly wave, your decorum, and a lot of that is without even using words. And so I just feel like using your personality to your benefit in this profession is very, very important.
Yeah, and when you say important, like in terms of like your career advancement or just like going back with clients or
both.
Yeah,
being memorable. Mm-hmm. Because we literally sit for hours on end and do not utter a single word.
Right.
How do you leave an impression in that type of job?
Yeah.
You know how? You keep it professional. You show up on time. You're friendly to everyone. You're supportive of everyone. You're the only neutral party most times in the room in a freelance setting. So it's very important that we show up and show out. And that may not even necessarily involve using words. But I can tell you that when I get done with a deposition, the attorneys will remember me. And when I come back, they'll say, hey, they might not know my name, but you were that one on that specific case. Yeah, it was me. And I think that's very, very important, the impression that we leave.
Absolutely. Yeah. I as an agency owner, I can tell you, it is when we get a reporter, first of all, when attorneys or clients come back and say, I really like this person, can you have her come back? We don't get that with every reporter. And I think a lot of the students coming out of schools, obviously they're very good, they're very proficient at what they do, but there is that other element that maybe they aren't instructed or told what to do, but and you can come off the wrong way too with your personality, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Be too intrusive. There's just a fine line that we walk. Right. I remember when I was young back in the day and I had a mentor, and I remember saying to her, oh, Melissa, they want to buy me lunch. I don't know. Should I accept that? I felt so uncomfortable taking anything. And she told me, and I'll never forget it, take whatever you can get. If they want to buy you lunch, let them buy you lunch. They're feeling like they're paying you back for the service that you're performing in a certain way. Also, it saves time. Let them do it. Relax, ease into it. You can still be professional and friendly and kind and proficient at the same time.
Yeah.
When I walk into a room, the attorneys know I mean business. I'm there to work. I'm there to get pages. Let's do this. But at the same time, I can crack a smile and crack a joke and have a good time. A lot of our material that we hear is heavy. People have businesses at risk, or they're being sued, or they've got employment issues, employment law. These are not light topics. And so we've really got to keep our professionalism and our decorum. At the same time, leave an impression on these attorneys and let them know, hey, we're here and we provide a valuable and important service to the community, to the legal community, to the society as a whole. What we do is extremely, extremely important and should be taken very seriously. At the same time.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, absolutely. And you really do capture that. And I guess may come more natural to some people, but I think reporters probably should be aware that that's something they should put out there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I, years ago, when I was working for a particular agency, I was the bottom of the totem pole. I got my calls last, my jobs last. I was young, inexperienced. However, I ascended the same totem pole by just requests. Hey, send that one girl back. Her readback was amazing. Hey, send her back. She had a tissue in her purse for my witness. Little things, little subtle differences that make you stand out. And in this age of artificial intelligence, we need to make our presence known and be an asset in the room at all times.
That's a really great point too. And that kind of touches on a couple of things we might talk a little bit more about later. But, this idea of being the human element in a room where often it's very contentious and you are that neutral third party, but you can still be a human about it, right? You can
Absolutely.
still sort of read the room, right? Which is something that an AI software system is never going to do.
Never.
A person, a recorder typing things in there doesn't have the understanding, the nuance, the skill set to understand what this means, how this is playing out. Yeah.
And I think that's also something you learn on the job. You learn when is apropos to interrupt.
Right.
Right. When to ask for a break.
Right.
That you're not being intrusive, that you're not causing a stir. I want to stay out of the fray as much as possible.
Right.
But if I need a break, I need to take one.
Right.
And I know when and how to do that. And I think that's something that's learned on the job. Also with newer reporters coming out, get yourself a mentor. Get yourself someone who's been doing this business for a while and can guide you.
Right.
And we're all going to make mistakes. We're all human. We have to learn some way, somehow.
Sure.
It's not the end of the world if you make a mistake. But I think it behooves you as the reporter to get more work and to be more proficient at your job by learning these subtleties.
Yes. Yeah. And I think because of the way the market is currently, where there's been a shortage for a number of years, and a lot of these reporters haven't had to go through. For instance, Stephanie did the same thing. She started at the bottom. Mm-hmm. She took, the work comp, the really easy work to start with, not really some of the bigger kind of work that was out there, because she had to kind of pay her dues,
Absolutely.
and learn the system. But today we see a lot where these reporters get newly licensed and they're put into these, if they have a pulse, almost they're going to a job because you're trying to get coverage. So there's this disincentive to maybe do some of those extra things to get a mentor, to kind of learn how to, have your personality match the depot that you're in, and just not just show up and just be there,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's interesting. So you're from New Jersey.
I am from New Jersey.
You spent time in New York.
Worked all professionally in New York, did some traveling. And then after 16 and a half years of being a freelancer, I met a dude and decided to move to Washington, D.C. And I became an official in D.C. The relationship didn't last, but the job did.
Maybe more importantly.
Hey. So I did that for about 8 years. And then then the pandemic hit, and my mom was in Florida alone. And I went down and worked remotely with her. And then I realized that she needed a little bit more help in Florida that I was aware of when I was living in DC. And so I decided to stay. And I applied for a federal position in Florida, in Fort Myers, and did that for 3 years. And then I just decided, you know what? It's time for me to go back to freelance. I'm vested, I'm done, I'm cool. Now I'm going to get back out there because I feel like the field needed us, needed me in particular. And I felt a certain calling to, like I said before, get out from behind the machine and do something a little different.
So when you say needed you, let's talk about that. How has the industry changed, or what compelled you to jump back into the freelance world and really, tackle this?
Well, it's changed tremendously because that 11-year break as an official, you're kind of insulated when you're an official. You kind of you have your job, your judge, or, you work in the court system, whether it's in a pool or however it is that particular courthouse is set up. And there's no competition, for lack of a better word. You've got your job. You're the reporter. There's no waiting, to find out if you're going to get a job the next day, or finding out if you're going to get a certain class of job, or you're just the reporter, no matter what it is. That's what you're taking and that's what you're doing. And so now that I'm back out in freelance, there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah.
In personality and method and in everything.
Yeah.
The competition was not as great, I don't remember, from my initial freelance years.
Okay, got it.
So that's changed. Like I said, just we did have a shortage for a while, and we have a whole bunch of new energy, I guess you would say, infused into the field. And some good, some not so good.
Right.
So I just felt like there was more for me to offer from behind the machine than there was sitting there taking it down.
Okay.
And that I could make more of a difference. But the changes are less reporters, more work, faster turnaround times. I mean, everybody wants everything daily,
right?
2-day daily. We didn't have that, I don't remember. But the great thing is the technology in my software makes it possible for me to turn around transcripts that fast. I'm writing real-time everything. That back in my day, in the beginning, we were not dictating from tape. I'm not that dinosaurish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it took so long to produce a transcript.
Right.
We were looking through phone books and, physicians' desk references.
There's no Google back then.
There was no Google.
Right.
So now they talk about court reporters not being tech savvy. I mean, our field, our profession has grown by leaps and bounds just for the simple fact that we can do all this research. I'm not printing out a MapQuest map to get to the job. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've got in-car navigation. I mean, getting lost and not knowing where you're going. And now I've got, in New York, you got the MTA app on your phone, and it could tell you walk 500 feet and you're there. I mean, it's amazing. I used to just walk in circles until I learned how the city was set up.
These kids these days have no clue. All right.
Back in my day. No, but I mean, seriously, it's amazing how fast everything is and how we can produce things. And it's almost like, well, yeah, I want a daily. Like, can you get this to me tomorrow? As a matter of fact, I can. So, now we have scoping simultaneously behind us.
Yes,
in the
right.
same file. I
Yep.
mean, that right there is
That's
monumental.
next level. Yeah, these trials where they need the dailies, like the trial, the day ends and they want the transcript at
Immediate
like 5
delivery.
o'clock. Right, exactly.
Immediate
Yep.
delivery.
Yep.
And they make it possible. Go ahead.
So no, I was just going to say, you talk about fast, and that's for people that know Stacey from the NCRA. She's a bit of a speedster herself.
Listen, you say that. However, I do not compare myself or think I'm a speedster at all. I will say, talking about the speeds, that my very first competition, I've only done 3.
You've only done 3?
I've only done 3.
Really? I thought you did
But
more.
my very first competition, I won a medal. And I don't think that has anything to do with skill or not. Can I be honest with you?
Sure. Yeah.
We're all in the room. Everybody in that room could get a medal. I feel like the key to competition is nerves. It's keeping your head about you.
Yeah.
You're in the room with, literal rock stars of our profession. And it is highly intimidating, very nerve-wracking. But if you can keep your calm and keep your cool, you can do it. And practice.
Yeah.
Truly.
Right.
You need to practice. So other than that, I've gotten very lucky. And maybe a little bit of beginner's luck because if I don't do, it wasn't, not to say that I didn't take it seriously, but it kind of was like, it wasn't going to make or break me.
Right.
So I'm going to do my best.
Yep.
I'm going to, there's a picture of me when my feet are wide open and I'm like hanging on for dear life because 280 words a minute is fast. But at the end of the day, once I get done with this convention, I'm going back to work.
Right.
Whether I get a medal or not, whether I place or not.
Yeah.
The job is going to be there. And I know it doesn't make or break me. So it's fun to me. I take it as, something to do, something with your friends. There's a huge community of people that practice together. And it's one big happy family in my eyes. That's the way I see it.
Well, I love it. And I think based on what you're saying, that it's not just about taking the test and having it as there's other benefits you get from improving your skills or practicing at it. Absolutely.
And the other benefit you get is keeping your nerves calm. Because every day, I used to give this analogy, we're like performers, court reporters. Every day, we got to go in. We might have a good day. We might have a bad day. We might hit the wrong note, hit the wrong key, make a mistake. But you keep performing. Just like you were on the stage, a dancer, nobody knows that you had that misstep. You keep your calm and you keep your cool and you keep writing. And that's what it is. And so I remember when I took the CRR, I think the CRR that I took was one of the last years that it was actually in person. It wasn't online. And I remember being in the room and having my laptop set up next to me and watching myself write as I was testing. And once I saw an untranslate, I remember literally my heart just dropped because this is real-time test. This has to all come out in English.
Right.
So I saw this untranslate and I about died in that chair. But I said, you know what? Keep going. I slammed down. I literally took my hand off the machine, slammed down the laptop cover, and just got in my head and wrote. And on that CRR exam, I had 3 errors.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, it's not a skill. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to say it's in your mind.
Right.
It's in your head. And every day we go out there and we give a performance. You're performing for yourself or your scopist or maybe someone that's ordered real time, but you're performing nonetheless. And if you hit a note flat, keep going.
Great words of advice. Our daughter is in gymnastics, and you see this in the Olympics or high level competition. Sometimes they fall off the beam. They just have to get back up and keep going.
Just get back up.
Right. You can't just quit. And
one instance of you falling off the beam does not constitute a horrible gymnast.
Right.
You had a bad day. You had a bad moment.
Right.
A moment in time, a snippet in time. And you can pick it up and keep going.
Yeah.
And that to me is what I do every day when I write. There's no difference whether I'm in a speed room, whether I'm in a deposition, whether I'm remote, in person. It doesn't matter. I'm giving my all every single time. And if I make a mistake, it is not a reflection of whether I'm a good or bad court reporter or a good or bad performer in whatever case that may be. So you just got to dust off your shoulders and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot get consumed. If I would have gotten consumed in that one untranslate, I would have failed that test. Hang on. Hang on. Keep going. That's my advice to anybody who, whether you want to pass an RPR or a CSR or whatever it is, just keep going. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's great.
Or 10. Whatever it is, it's a limited amount of time in a quantum of space, and you can get it done.
Yeah. Great advice. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, we mentioned this morning on the ride over here, your story of how you kind of were pushed into real time. So for the young reporters out there who maybe are you just had a great, analogy about why you got to, forget about the mistakes and press through. But what would be your advice to young reporters who maybe are hesitant to, get real time certified or trained or push their skills?
I would say, honestly, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice by not providing real time. You can make so much more money.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. That's what we're all here for, right?
Right.
Make some money.
Sure.
You can make so much more money by doing real time. And it's scary.
Yeah.
I know it's scary because I was a young reporter in a very small boutique agency in New York City that did nothing but high-end, products liability, entertainment, patent. I mean, all the high-end stuff. And I remember I was working for my agency, and the agency owner called me herself. And when she called, I was like, oh boy, what does she want? So she called me. She said, Stacey, listen, they had been prompting me to take real time just for my own benefit, just to make more money.
Sure.
We've got these jobs. You need to do it.
Sure.
No. Because I equated it with somebody seeing me naked. Mm-hmm. It was very, very personal. Back in those days, I used to double stroke speaker designation. So I would say plaid or blue. I didn't want the attorneys seeing that.
Right.
This is before we were predefining stuff and all that. So I said, no, I can't do it. It's too much pressure. It's too much stress. It's already stressful enough, the job. That's an added layer. Oh, come on, Stacey, come on, do it. Nope, not doing it. Well, the night she called me, the very next day, they had a real-time job on the calendar and could not cover it. And now, like I said, this was the same agency that I was the youngest at and the newest. And she said, I need you to go. I'm gonna handle all this for you. Now, mind you, keep in mind, this is before Bridge Mobile and internet, real time and all this stuff. Way before that. So we actually were setting up laptops with cables.
Yeah, cords everywhere.
Yeah. And not iPads or mini books or netbooks. They were huge, heavy brick laptops that we were setting up all around this table. And she said to me, Stacey, if you go, I just need you to write. I will send someone there. They will set up everything, install cookies on laptops. I mean, all kinds of stuff that I was like, I don't want no parts of it.
Right.
She said, I will send someone with you. I'm still friends with this young man to this day, Claudio. He used to come to my jobs and set up everything and make sure everything was working. And he'd hang around a little while I start, and then I'd give him the nod, like, okay, you're dismissed now. Everything's working.
Yeah.
So she did that. She sent Claudio, and I went. I mean, Isaiah, I'm telling you, I don't think I slept a wink that night. I had a knot in my stomach that you could not, because I didn't want to let her down. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
Right.
I knew I was a good writer, but that was very personal to me. Right?
Right.
It's a very personal thing, the way you write, the way it's just very niche. So I went, I survived, I made it, I had a successful day. And when that paycheck came, good Lord, I said, thank you so much for pushing me. She literally pushed me off the ledge, and then I never looked back.
Right.
I still enjoy doing a non-real-time job here and there. I do. I feel like I have a little more freedom in a way. But let's face it, real-time keeps us employed, keeps us relevant. These younger attorneys nowadays don't know how to do a depo without real time.
Right.
They need it.
Right. Yep.
You know, they're literally taking my iPad and, okay, right?
Right.
And that's nerve-wracking. So I just stick with it, hang in there, and for any reporter that's even contemplating it or thinking about it, just do it.
Like your Nikes.
Like the Nikes, baby.
That's it.
Just do it. Jump out there and do it. And it's nerve-wracking, and you're going to be nervous, because if you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you. You have to be.
Right.
Again, you are performing. You're a performer.
Right.
And you're going to do it, and you're going to get through it, and the day is going to end, and it's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it will open up. Watching yourself write and seeing how you then scope and make the changes and say, oh, I need a brief for that. Or that particular fingering, I just can't get that. Or my pinky doesn't reach there, and I need to tweak the way that I'm writing. It's the best way to learn about yourself. It really, really is. I would suggest anybody in this day and age, in 2025, do real time.
Do it. Yep.
Do it. It keeps us ahead of some other methods that are out there.
Sure.
And especially if you're good at it, and keep practicing, keep proficient, keep up on your game. Take any class that you can. Go out there and research. Come to conventions, state,
Yes.
national, whatever. Listen to some of these people who are telling you how it's done and how they do it. And then adapt your own style for how you want to do it.
Yeah.
But real time is the way to go. It
Yeah.
is the future. It's now. It's been here. And I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not providing real time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And one thing I'll add to that, from the agency owner perspective or a scheduler perspective, if you're a reporter that has that skill, you're always going to be called to jobs no matter
Always.
what. Because that's an extra skill. It's like in baseball, if people watch, it's like a 5-tool player. You can do it all, right? So you know that you're going to get a job, because if it's real time, you're going to be at top of the list. If it's non-real time, you'll still get the job. So
You'll still get the job.
yeah, it's definitely hugely valuable for us when we look at reporters like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like I said, it's helping you.
Right.
The reporter.
Yeah.
From your own selfish standpoint.
Yeah.
It really is. It's helping you. And so it's making you a better reporter.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Great. Yeah.
So
you'd mentioned other methods just a second ago about why real time's so important. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room. Let's talk about AI for a moment, and your thoughts on that, and how you think it's going to impact the profession.
my thoughts on that. Well, I could tell you that it's impacted the profession in a positive way, like what I just said, as far as the internet and just being able to do research.
Right.
And that's not AI technically, but let's just talk about innovations, right?
Right.
So starting here and going there. I think AI can be a great tool. I don't think AI can replace a court reporter. There's I did some volunteering back in my day, a couple years ago, and one of the catchphrases that me and my crew came up with was, okay, fine, you're going to use AI, but can you trust AI beyond a reasonable doubt? That's the key question. That's the question that I would ask anybody that was coming to me and saying, well, AI is going to replace you. Back in 1994, they told me that a tape recorder was going to replace me then, right?
Right.
And they still have not taken the court reporter out of the room. You're going to need someone, and you're going to need someone who's highly skilled, who has that, what were we saying before, that thing in the room that,
Right.
okay, I'm quiet, but I'm here,
Right.
right?
Yep.
I'm here for whatever you need, providing you the service. And there's something that the human element brings to the table, the conference table,
Right.
or the dais, or wherever, if you're in a courtroom, that AI can never emulate or replace.
Right.
So there's a lot of dangers with AI too. Nobody talks about the hallucinations. Can I say that? The hallucinations and the mistakes and the pitfalls of having something guess at what you might say. Your testimony, your case, your client, they're too important for you to risk it on AI just hallucinating, turning yes into no. The dialects, I mean, my mother's from Jamaica. AI could never understand my mother and make an intelligent transcript out of it.
Right.
Yeah, she speaks English with an accent. There's a lot of accented people in this country that deserve the same rights as everybody else.
Yeah.
So until you give me AI that's going to be as proficient as me and my human ear deciphering what you are saying,
right,
I don't trust it. And I don't think you should either.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet. And I don't think we ever will be there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tarry on. And I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Making a good record.
Yeah.
And I'll let my work speak for itself.
There it is. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. It's here. It's being used in some places, but it's funny. I had a similar conversation with my aunt who was a judge when Stephanie and I started our agency in 2007. Mm-hmm. And she said, "Aren't you worried about electronic recording replacing you?" It's the same question.
Same question.
It's been coming over and
for
over.
Years.
It's always, it's just around the corner. It's going to replace us. But, I think about grocery stores, right? Like how they have these selfless checkouts. Mm-hmm. It's been around now for well over a decade, and it hasn't replaced even the most basic of like baggage checking because people still like interacting with humans.
And I'm sorry, but I'll go to the cashier every time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't work here.
Right. I'm not going to do your work for you.
Nobody's paying me to ding these groceries out. And and then please don't, it's not bougie or I'm not.
No.
I don't work here.
Right. Exactly.
And I want you to keep your job.
Right.
So every time, I don't care how long that line is.
Right.
I will go to the cashier and I will say, "Hi, how are you? How's your day going?"
Right. Yeah.
A little banter back and forth. It's worth it to me. So, like I said, it's a great tool. I love the technology advancements that we've made in my 30-year career.
Sure.
But I'm still here.
Right.
And I'm still standing.
Right.
And we are still highly in demand.
Yeah.
And what I would always recommend someone who was looking for a career who didn't want to spend 4 years in college like me to go into court reporting.
Sure.
Because they told me the same thing. They told my sister the same thing in the 80s.
Right.
Oh, they're going to replace you. 2 turntables and a mic. And I'm still
That's
here.
right. DJ Stacey.
Exactly. Wiki. So, it is what it is. Like you said, it's here, but it's not going to replace me.
Well, no, and I think human stenographers are going to be more valuable because there's going to be a premium placed on them when they see the product that's out there, and maybe some of the, without mentioning names, some of the big boxes that are pushing this really heavily.
Absolutely.
All the time we hear, I want a court reporter. I don't want this thing over here. Right.
This thing over here.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be more valuable if you dig in and are proficient at it, especially things like real time. You're going to be making a lot more money, actually.
Absolutely. And that, to your point, things like real time is what's going to speak for us. Right. I don't feel like I need to argue the point anymore. Right. Just watch me.
Right. Exactly. The product speaks for itself.
It's going to speak for itself.
Right.
I went to a tech conference one time with Sue Terry, and we were in the expo hall, and we walked around to all these vendors who've got their shingle up saying, "Oh, we provide transcription services. We do court reporting." Not one of those vendors could do a live demonstration for me. I said, "Okay, let me see your product. Let me talk to it." And I was going to put on my mother's patois accent. let me talk to it. "Oh, we don't have that set up." Everything that they were showing was some canned pre-input speech that they had coming up on the screen.
Sure.
They couldn't give me a microphone and say, "Okay, start talking," and let me watch what the real time was.
Right.
And in my opinion, I feel like that was on purpose. You didn't want me to speak and do a live demonstration. Right. All I need is a steno machine. And I can take down what you're saying right now on the spot.
Yep.
But you can't do that. Why? Why do you have to program this software to say certain things?
Right.
It makes you wonder. It just makes you go, I don't know how their business works.
Yeah.
But like I said, Mother Teresa has this saying, and by no way am I anything like Mother Teresa, but she, someone asked her, "Are you anti-war?" And she said, "I'm not anti anything. What I am is pro-peace. I'm not anti anything.
Right.
What I am is pro-steno.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am.
Preach it,
So,
sister.
I'm not here to begrudge anyone or ruffles anyone's feathers, but I'm telling you that I believe that I am the superior method and always will be. And our tribe will always be superior to anything that AI could ever do.
I agree. Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, Stacey, thank you so much for coming on the pod today.
Thank you for having me, Isaiah. You and Stephanie are just joys to me. I really enjoy being in your company. Thank you for having me, and I'll talk to you anytime.
Well, I appreciate that. We'll probably have you back on the pod. You'll be our highest rated episode by far.
Oh, my
for
goodness.
Sure.
No.
But thank you again for coming out.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time. Thanks for coming in to Court Reporter Confidential.
Peace, love, and steno, baby.
That's it. DJ Stacey and Isaiah out.
Very good. That was awesome.